coverage you can count on. This is Fox 30 Action News at 7.
Child hit and killed. The critical clue troopers found overnight that could lead them to the driver that left a 3-year-old little boy to die in the middle of a local roadway. Plus, family escaped.
It was like we were literally in hell. Whoosh! Flames.
A car set on fire threatens a local mother and her children, who saved them just in time.
How 3 people are doing this morning after running off the road into a retention pond near a busy interchange. New evidence out of Australia that is stirring hope they might have found the missing Malaysian airline. 23 minutes of nonstop news, weather, and traffic straight ahead. Action News This Morning starts right now. And let's start with a glorious shot outside this morning. I'll tell you what, if you loved yesterday, you're going to love today as well. Kind of got that sense of summer yesterday. That was what I was feeling. 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday, April 23rd. Thanks for joining us on this hump day. I'm Mike Bars.
And I'm Lindsay Gardner. Yes, good morning to you, sunshine. Such a gorgeous shot out there. And Fox 30 meteorologist Ariel Nixon tracking more sunshine in store today.
Exactly. Another beautiful day. It's been pretty quiet here in the weather department this week. Right now, though, we are dealing with a little bit of patchy fog across the area. Right now, visibility down to 4 miles in Valdosta, 8 miles at the Jacksonville International Airport. So not affecting everyone, but if you live on the west side of Duval County, your visibility is down to just 2 miles at this time. It's going to improve quickly. The sun is up, so that fog is going to burn off. We also have some winds that are going to help move that fog out. But if you live in the low-lying areas, you know where you are, you know who you are, and you are going to expect to see that fog as you head out the door this morning. Temperatures right now are in the lower 60s all across the map. We have 59 degrees in Gainesville. That's our chilly spot now after Lake City has warmed up. By 9 o'clock, 66 degrees. At noon, 76. We are going to get into those lower 80s this afternoon. Very similar to yesterday. The only difference, we are going to see a few isolated showers. I'll track those for you today, show you where we're going to get into the middle 80s this afternoon. More showers. They will be more numerous on Thursday. I'll show you that as well. And your pollen forecast. That's coming up in your First Alert forecast. The time is now 7:02. Time for some First Alert traffic.
Thank you, Ariel. Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day to you. 10 Analytics building up just a bit. Cars are moving okay. Given that yellow light, you're definitely going to hit the brakes. Now that sun up and it's getting a little bit crowded out there, but your travel time still looking good. 5 minutes from 295 into the Fuller Warren Bridge. Over on the West Beltway, delay free all the way from I-10 down to the Buckman Bridge. You really don't slow down until you get on the Mandarin side of things, hitting the brakes right at Old St. Augustine Road. FHP working a hit-and-run crash on State Road 23, which is Chafee Road, Brandonfield Chafee Road at 103rd Street. They are saying lanes are open, but you will see them on the scene, so may tap your brakes just a little bit. And down into Clay County, into Middleburg. Good morning to you. 29 miles per hour on State Road 21 here, right at County Road 218 through Clay Hill. That is the very latest from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. Linz?
7:03, and right now, police are looking for one of 2 drivers involved in a hit-and-run crash that killed a 3-year-old little boy. As we first reported at 4:30 this morning, that child who was hit and left to die in Putnam County is little Morgan Calloway from San Mateo. Action News' Jesse McDonough joins us live from US 17 where this accident happened. And Jesse, you learned overnight that deputies found the car they were searching for, but not the driver.
I just got off the phone with the Florida Highway Patrol, and what they told me is that right now they do have several persons of interest in this hit-and-run case. However, they are not releasing where they located that vehicle just yet. Now, FHP says that the 3-year-old little boy was with family members at San Mateo Church when he got loose and ended up in the roadway. He was hit and killed by a driver who then took off. Now, it took police a little while to find that vehicle. At first, they were not sure whether it was a Honda or an Accord, but they now know it's an Accord because they've located that vehicle. Now, they did know the vehicle had a Florida tag and was a disabled veteran plate. FHP also describes the vehicle as having dual exhaust in chrome or in silver. Officers also processed a truck at the scene as well because the driver was behind the white Honda Accord and is believed to have also run over that small child. Now, we also put a call into the Putnam County Jail. So far, no one has been booked or charged for a hit and run as of this morning. Reporting live in Putnam County, Jesse McDonough, CBS 47, Fox 30 Action News.
A bill that would increase penalties for drivers involved in deadly hit and runs like this one is now waiting for Governor Rick Scott's approval. If passed, a driver who leaves the scene of a deadly accident will have to serve at least 4 years in prison. That is the same mandatory minimum sentence for a person convicted of DUI manslaughter. Just last year, there were 70,000 hit and run crashes just in the state of Florida. That is 500 more than in 2011.
New this morning, 3 people are alive and doing well after their car actually careened into a Jacksonville retention pond. The crash happened early this morning at the ramp to eastbound JTB from southbound I-295. Russell Colburn joins us live from the scene right now. Russell, you were there as they pulled the car out earlier this morning. This car actually was traveling south on the 295.
That's right. It was traveling down 295 when it went down that embankment and into the pond. Now take a look at the scene from 5 this morning as JSO dive team helped tow truck workers remove the red Toyota Corolla from the water. FHP says the accident occurred just after 2 a.m. and at one time only the top of the car's roof was above the water. Now FHP is investigating what caused this crash, and I'll bring you updates on the investigation and updates on the occupants' conditions live. But for now, live on the south side, Russell Colburn, Fox 30 Action News.
Russell, thank you. At 7:06 in breaking news right now in the search for the missing Malaysian airliner. An object of interest is right now in the hands of authorities after being recovered on the coast of Australia.
Dawn Lopez is in the breaking news center right now. Dawn, this piece of debris was actually found on land, not in the ocean.
That's the important thing you'll note here. That object of interest was found on the Western Australian coast. Police have it right now. We brought you the live news conference from Malaysian investigators at 6:30 this morning right here on Fox 30. Australian officials say that they're assessing a series of photos right now. Malaysian officials say that they haven't received those pictures yet, but the object is described as a sheet metal, a sheet metal attached to something with ribbon. Australian Transport Commissioner Martin Dolan is saying, quote, the more we look at it, the less excited we get. There's still 20% of search area that still needs to be explored, but we're told the search strategy will remain the same. Mike?
All right, new this morning, we are following 2 vehicle fires, both being considered arson. First, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office looking for a person they say stole a truck and then set it on fire. They found a vehicle near Kona State Park early this morning in Arlington. The state fire marshal is investigating this case as arson.
The state fire marshal is also investigating a family's car that was set on fire on the west side and spread to their home. Now, this is what's left of that mother's vehicle. Overnight crews were able to put the fire out on Saranac Street. A mother inside says she and her 3 children fought to escape.
This is where me and my kids have to lay our head. We didn't even know that it was a fire. I hear until my godmama happened to go to the door. It was like we were literally in hell. Whoosh! Flames.
They were all able to make it out all right. Police say that fire is arson.
Attorneys for Michael Dunn will be back in court this morning. They are asking a judge to give them more time to prepare for the retrial. Now, right now, jury selection for Dunn's retrial is scheduled for May 5th. Dunn is accused of shooting and killing 17-year-old Jordan Davis. His first trial ended with a mistrial on the murder charge. And Action News went to the experts to dig a little deeper into the Michael Dunn investigation. 2 former FBI agents recreate the deadly shooting using evidence and testimony from the first trial. What our experts found that may have you questioning what happened that night. That'll be Thursday at 5 o'clock on CBS 47 Action News.
Action News time is 7:08 and new this morning. The mother of Trayvon Martin was honored by a fraternity at Kansas State University Tuesday. The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity honored Sabrina Fulton with the Brandon L. Clark Alpha Excellence Award. She talked at the school about the work the Trayvon Martin Foundation is doing to raise awareness about gun violence.
So I'm meeting a great deal of people, and I'm just very proud of my foundation that we have created, because I feel like we are definitely on the right path to help other families.
Trayvon Martin was killed in February of 2012 in Sanford by George Zimmerman. Zimmerman was acquitted of murder last year.
A Jacksonville mother's in jail this morning, charged with killing her baby. Police say 27-year-old Jamie Jones, seen right here smiling in her mugshot, gave her 3-month-old a lethal dose of drugs in January. Action News learned the Department of Children and Families opened the case to investigate Jones when her baby was born with oxycodone in her system. But they found no evidence that he was in danger of that the baby, rather, was in any chance of any further danger at the time.
This morning, a Jacksonville father will appear in court to answer to child neglect and drug charges after his 15-month-old son, little Elijah, was found alone and naked late at night in a West Side retention pond. We brought you this breaking story as it unfolded earlier this month. Police say 22-year-old Matthew Dean was supposed to be watching his child, but instead he fell asleep on the couch with marijuana on the stove nearby.
New this morning, 2 children are okay after a crash in Alachua County late on Tuesday. 24-year-old Matthew Stout was traveling on State Road 26 with his 2-year-old and his 1-month-old when he was hit. Actually, when he hit 26-year-old Mauro Peralta. Peralta suffered serious injuries from the crash and was taken to the hospital. Stout and his children had minor injuries. Troopers say Peralta will be charged with making an improper left turn.
A local elementary school teacher who's accused of choking his kindergarten student and inappropriately touching others will not be allowed back in the classroom this morning. It's an update to a story we first broke for you on Monday night. Parents of a 5-year-old girl called Action News saying their daughter was choked in class at Biltmore Elementary in Jacksonville last Thursday. They were concerned because the teacher was still in the classroom. But on Tuesday, that teacher was put on leave. So far, the teacher has not been arrested. The Duval County School District and the Department of Children and Families is investigating.
This afternoon, friends and family will say their final goodbyes to a beloved high school principal. A funeral, Craig Speziale, is planned for 3:30 this afternoon. He was the first and only principal at Ponte Vedra High School. He lost his battle with cancer on Saturday. His funeral will take place at San Juan del Rio Catholic Church. Family members sent Action News a statement that reads in part, "To all who knew him, he offered kindness, encouragement, and hope for a brighter tomorrow. With grateful tears, we send our sincere appreciation to family, friends, neighbors, and the entire Ponte Vedra High School and St. Johns County community for the love and support you've shown us during this difficult time."
Now, your weather and traffic on the ones.
Good morning, everyone. I've been telling you about this patchy fog that we're dealing with on the west side all morning. In fact, since 4:30 this morning, and it's just now starting to affect the West Beltway. Derek Odom will tell you how that fog is affecting your morning commute. Otherwise, we're looking at that 2-mile visibility on the west side, 8-mile visibility in Jacksonville at the airport. It's 60 degrees at the airport, 61 on the west side. We have mid-60s as we head out towards the coast. Those temps are going to jump up this afternoon. Once the sun gets all the way up there, we are going to see a beautiful day. So I had to show you this beautiful sunrise shot over the landing. This is what you need to know for today. Listen up. 80s today inland. We'll see 70s at the beaches, partly sunny and warm. Few isolated showers along the sea breeze today. More numerous showers for tomorrow. I'll track those for you hour by hour. Coming up in your first alert forecast. The time is now 7:12. Derek Odom, how is that fog affecting the roads?
And you can see it here on the West Beltway, just creeping in on 295 at 103rd. So causing you a minor delay, maybe add a minute or two to your drive time through the West Beltway and west of that to where the fog is its most dense. 12 minutes from I-10 down to the top of the Buckman Bridge. 28 miles per hour there, southbound at Old St. Augustine Road, making your way into that south interchange. So starting to get crowded as you make your way through Mandarin. That's the latest from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. Mike.
All right, Derek, it's 7:13 right now. Some breaking news out of eastern Ukraine. That's where an American journalist is being held captive right now by pro-Russian militants. This is Simon Ostrovsky, and he's been, well, he actually been seen since early on Tuesday. Well, today a spokeswoman for the insurgents confirmed that he was being held at a security branch. She said the journalist was, quote, fine, and also suspected of bad activities. The insurgents seized the building in a key city in eastern Ukraine more than a week ago. In the meantime, USA Today reports about 600 U.S. troops will arrive today in the eastern Europe in response to the crisis in Ukraine. Pentagon officials say the presence of the U.S. soldiers will raise the stakes for Russia to heed the U.S. warnings to move out of Ukraine. Comes after these pictures surfaced. The Ukrainian government says they show Russian troops inside their country where they've taken over government buildings.
Action News time is 7:14 into South Korea now, where the death toll from last week's ferry sinking is now at 150. More than 100 people, mostly high schoolers, are still missing this morning, and the likelihood of finding any survivors is slim to none. 2 hours ago, divers alerted investigators that there are no air pockets on the ferry at all. Meanwhile, memorials for the victims are just beginning. Distraught and devastated, friends and family lined to honor one of the crew members who died. Witnesses say the 22-year-old woman gave out life jackets to the students as the ferry was going down and refused to put one on herself. A senior prosecutor announced overnight that 2 more of the ship's crew have been arrested, bringing the total number of arrested to 11. That does include the captain, who was not steering the ferry when the accident happened.
Well, the community of Oso, Washington is still searching through a muddy debris field left from that massive, deadly landslide more than a month ago. Officials identified 2 more victims recovered this week. In the meantime, President Obama was there on Tuesday to see the damage for himself. He met with families affected by the disaster.
There's still families who are searching for loved ones. There are families who've lost everything, and it's going to be a difficult road ahead for them.
The president toured the area in Marine One, thanking first responders and volunteers. At the search site, crews are still searching for the 2 victims who are still missing. By the way, the death toll stands at 41 people.
Expect to pay more for insurance under the Affordable Care Act next year. That is the message likely coming from Obamacare providers. Starting in a few weeks, insurance companies will start telling the administration if they will take part next year and how much they're going to charge. Kaiser Family Foundation expects a 7 to 10% increase on average. Now, that is in line with increases prior to the Affordable Care Act, but insurers that offered plans on the federal and state exchanges could also back out.
You will have to shop again and change plans, but hopefully in every area there will be a choice.
Most providers are expected to continue to offer their policies under the Affordable Care Act. A few more are also believed to now join in.
Well, the White House is looking at options to withdraw troops in Afghanistan. It would leave fewer than 10,000 there by next year. U.S. military officials say more than that are needed to train Afghan forces, and that the Taliban and al-Qaeda could regain control if this happens. The move would show the Afghan forces can provide their own security. The U.S. would focus its mission mainly on counterterrorism.
The IRS is facing criticism for handing out bonuses to their own employees who owed back taxes. A newly released audit found that nearly $3 million was paid out to workers who were disciplined for tax misconduct over a 2-year period. Federal regulations do not require the IRS to consider tax compliance when issuing bonuses to their employees, but now the agency says they will change the policy.
Kurt Clausen is the winner of the congressional district race in Fort Myers. The 54-year-old former CEO won the Republican primary there. He had 35% of the vote on Tuesday's 4-way special election. It was called after the district's congressman resigned in January. The district is heavily Republican and includes both Lee and Collier counties. He will face Democrat April Freeman in the June 24th general election.
717 and a bill to ban insurance companies from discriminating against gun owners in Florida is headed to the governor's desk. The House approved that bill backed by the National Rifle Association on Tuesday. Florida gun owners say they are happy the bill passed. They say without it, homeowners would be inclined to not have a gun, which could then increase the risk of crime.
Well, it's opening up the floodgates to say, as a bad guy, I'm not going to be intimidated by coming into somebody's house thinking they might have a gun. The chances are now they don't.
Opponents of the bill say insurance companies are calculating the risk they're taking when offering coverage to gun owners. They say having a gun in your home increases the risk of accidents involving children.
718 right now, a controversial bill that would impact craft breweries here in Florida is getting some support from Governor Rick Scott. The Senate version of the bill would allow the sale of 64-ounce containers of beer, but also it would force brewers to buy back their own products from distributors before selling them to customers. And that's something brewers that we talk to say could actually put them out of business. The House version allows large containers of beer to be sold with no strings attached.
Jacksonville city leaders are backing a plan that will allow renovations to continue on the city's Riverwalk. Action News was the first to tell you and tell city council members their own renovations on the South Bank were $2 million and 900 feet short. The city council has struggled to come up with the cash, but on Tuesday it did. Members voted unanimously to spend the money to finish the project. If all goes according to plan, the Riverwalk should be finished by the end of this year.
Now, your first alert forecast, Jacksonville's most accurate.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. I told you at 4:30 that we were going to see some patchy fog on the west side, and here it is. We have low visibility down to 2 miles on the west side, just starting to pop up on our cameras on the West Beltway, not causing too much of a slowdown, though. Derek Odom will have more info. Right now at the Jacksonville International Airport, your visibility is reported at 8 miles, and those are our only spots reporting the fog through Duval County. Right now we have 60 degrees in Jacksonville, 61 on the west side, looking at 63 to 64 from Orange Park to Mayport. So temperatures warmer right now than they were at this time yesterday, but this afternoon will be very similar to yesterday. We have dry conditions all over your 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD, and that'll be the case through the majority of the day. But listen up, we are going to see the potential for a few isolated sea breeze showers later on this afternoon. Let me show you hour by hour. By 10 o'clock, we're going to jump up to some spots in those lower 70s, otherwise looking at upper 60s for your lunch hour, mid and upper 70s in the forecast. Grab the sunglasses, grab your lunch, and take it outside because it's going to be a beautiful day. But by 2:30 to 3 o'clock, we will start to see those isolated showers, mainly developing along the sea breeze from the east coast and also developing on the sea breeze on the Gulf Coast. So that's where we're going to see those showers. They will push inland and kind of fall apart into the evening. We're going to top out with temperatures in the lower 80s. And then into the evening, those temps will drop down into the 70s. And eventually, we are going to see 60s in the forecast for early tomorrow morning. Your winds today starting out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not a huge issue as far as the wind goes. But through the afternoon, as that sea breeze develops, your temperatures along the coast will drop through the afternoon. So beach temperatures will be much cooler than they were at this from yesterday. Then our cold front will push through. We have a weak front that's going to make its way through. Not really going to bring us any rain, but it will bring us a shift in our winds. They will become onshore for tomorrow. Your pollen forecast for today is moderate. We're still concerned with oak, pine, and grass, but the season is starting to taper off. Your winds are going to be light, so not a huge issue through the day today. Coastal temperatures today topping out in the 70s. Overnight tonight, we will drop down to temps in the mid-60s. For Jacksonville, Arlington, and Orange Park, a high today of 82, overnight low of 60 degrees. And our inland communities will warm up into the middle 80s. From Waycross to Lake City and Fort White, you're looking at 85 degrees today, 58 degrees overnight tonight. Temperatures will be mild throughout the day today, so very similar to yesterday, high of 82 rather than 83. Your showers are more numerous on Thursday, a high of 80 degrees, 83 on Friday under partly sunny skies. The weekend looks beautiful, mid-80s, a few showers Sunday, better chances for rain and thunderstorms on Monday and Tuesday. Log on to actionnewsjax.com for all of your First Alert weather info. The time is now 7:21. Time for First Alert traffic with Derek Odom.
And we're taking a look now at that camera again, 295 and 103rd Street. Some light fog in this area. It's just crept onto the West Beltway. Other cameras in the area looking pretty okay, so no major problems there, at least on the interstate as far as the fog is concerned. If you're out west into Duval, you may experience some delays, some patchy fog, as Ariel's been talking about, so be aware of that. Make your way up to the airport on 995. No major problems there. You're looking pretty good, delay-free. 67 miles per hour. That is southbound over the Dames Point Bridge, and over on the Arlington Expressway, 35 miles per hour is starting to get crowded as you make your way toward the Matthews Bridge. That is the very latest from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. Lens?
Still to come this morning, testing suspended. The backup plan school districts across our area will have to follow if students don't complete the FCAT on time.
Also, a local daycare with multiple violations, a problem it had with the training its staff, and the other violation found by inspectors.
And 3-year-old hit and killed. What we are learning about this local boy, deputies say was killed by a hit-and-run driver, and how authorities are trying to track down that person right now. And as we head to break, we show you a live look here at Fort Worth, where rescue crews are desperately trying to save cattle trapped in an overturned cattle truck right in the middle of a busy Fort Worth interchange. Your time, 7:23.